Hello there, I'm DMXL, and I thought I would do a content analysis of the new Final Fantasy XIV 2.0 screenshots that were just posted yesterday. I will not be covering everything. A lot of the stuff in these screenshots that you see have already been covered. They were from the original screenshot. The whole purpose of those screenshots are just, showcase the new content and all that they are doing. So we'll try to primarily cover things we haven't seen before and point out a few things. I won't cover everything, obviously. There's a lot of stuff in these screenshots that are, people are still finding out now. So I won't cover everything, but I'll cover, as much as, or just, a little bit of it. Try to get sort of the big things out and, leave a little stuff for you to find yourself. Or for you to browse on the internet and, find there. Alright, so we're going to start off with the character creator. I'm only going to be looking at this one screenshot of the character creator. First off, it looks beautiful. It looks really, really nice. And versus, doing it in sort of the stock Final Fantasy XIV character creator, you actually have this sort of view of the background. And if you look in the top right corner, or top left corner, you'll see that there's some buttons there. You have sort of the center one, which is highlighted, and that's the background we're currently on. And then you also have a desert view, and then sort of like this, more of, how Final Fantasy XIV currently is viewed to it as well, by the looks of it at least. But going back to the screenshot, we see some nice things. So we see quick and easy access to all the character options. In 14, how it is currently, you have to sort of go back a whole bunch if you want to go back and change the eye color or whatever, which is very nice. It looks like you have direct access to all of the main settings on the right hand side as well. You also have internet connection status, something that says ST. I don't know what that means. Maybe that means like standard time or something like that. And then you have the time as well. Finally, in the bottom right hand corner, you have basically cosmetics. You can check out how your character's going to look standing in battle and then sort of like a pose by the looks of it. And then you also have attire, so you can see what is this race's standard attire, what their class attire will probably look like, and what small little clothes will look like. And this to me screams sort of just looking like what your character may look like, testing them out in different situations. I don't think any of this is really going to affect how your character is. Your character always going to run around striking a battle pose? Probably not. So I think this is all just cosmetics. Finally, I'm also going to point out that this is a male Makote in this picture. So, just throwing that out there, male Makote. Alright, moving on, we have a combat screenshot. And a lot of stuff's already been sort of covered in this. The chat system, how, all the bars look, the fact that there's Gil in the bottom right-hand corner, and there's these weird squares that everyone thinks represents bags, which would make perfect sense, given that there's some green dots, some red dots, and then there's some blank dots. It makes sense for those to be bags. But there is some new information here. For instance, on the bar, there are 2 bars, which is very nice. It allows you to have more bars equipped. In one screenshot I will not be looking at, you'll actually have bars on the left and right hand side, so you can throw them over there like in most MMOs. But what I wanted to direct your attention to was specifically the top left corner. There you have your party menu, which looks for the most part the same, but what you have is Lulu, the player named Lulu. Everyone else has a first name and surname, and then you have Lulu, which doesn't have a surname. And so the current speculation of this is that this is a retainer fighting alongside you, or instead of a retainer, it is your companion you choose in the middle of the story missions, the main storyline quest, to fight alongside you, like I think it's like level 20 or 15 or something like that. You get them. That's the current speculation, that it's one of those two. We already know that retainers are going to eventually be able to do something along those lines, because they will have levels. So it looks like this group has a retainer fighting with them, or their companion. It could also very well be the Chocobo. In the first screenshot they released, we saw a Chocobo fighting with him. But they typically name the characters based on what they do. So Lulu was a black mage in Final Fantasy X, So you wouldn't name a chocobo Lulu, right? So that's sort of their naming convention in these screenshots. You know, everyone's names fit, you know, what they're doing. So we have Kain, who is a Dragoon. Kain was a Dragoon in Final Fantasy IV, if I recall. Aerith is a white mage. She was basically a white mage in Final Fantasy VII, so the names sort of fit the roles, and so Lulu we see here is probably a black mage NPC that's just doing things on their own, which is pretty cool. We also have a quest log over in the top right screen below the minimap, which is an awesomely redesigned minimap. I really like it. I like that it doesn't just fade out now, and the art style has also been changed a little bit for the minimap as well. But you also have a quest tracker so you can see what your main quest is. This is nice because right now as it is, you just have to open up your journal every time you want to see anything. And so that's a nice little addition. Next on, we're moving to the last, actual screenshot of this, of, running around that I'm going to be showing. And I wanted to point out two things. One, in the top right corner, we have Zayden Trebol. We have his HP. And then we have something called CP, and he's a crafter class, so the current thought process is that this is crafting points, or something along those lines. Secondly, something I noticed, which I haven't really seen a lot of discussion about, is on the actual quick bar. On the 1 through 3 slots, we have standard, quick, and careful synthesis. You can tell this based on what the icon looks like, that's basically what they are. Now, the current way this works is you open up a minigame and you have those actions listed in a little window. So what does this mean? Well, it could mean that crafting is more of like an action-based thing now, where you have a table there, you select the table and attack it, sort of like it's like it's combat. So that's the sort of what I'm thinking that is. At the very least, I think they're removing the whole crafting window that's currently in the game, and instead you're just going to use the action bar like all the other classes. Which is pretty cool. Moving on, we have the delivery Mughal, which is probably the best screenshot of the lot for most people. It proves that several things. I'm not actually going to highlight anything in this picture, by the way. So first off, obviously, mail. We know that mail isn't going to be in there. Secondly, if you read the chat box, you'll notice that there is a mail limit, so you will have a limit to your mailbox. At least from what this Mughal is saying, unless that's all just fluff. So it seems like there's going to be sort of a limit to the amount of mail you can have. Thirdly, we see that the chat box system has gotten a complete redesign. And it looks very, very good now. If you look at current screenshots of the game of when you're talking to NPCs, it looks very, very bland and boring by comparison to this. This is very stylized. It looks very Final Fantasy-like, and I'm generally quite pleased with it. I really like the new design to it. So, yeah, that's all this screenshot really says. And then finally, we have a Lullafell that is jumping over a cliff. So obviously, jumping is going to be in the game. So yeah, that's it. Just a quick content analysis. Maybe I'm pointing out some things that you guys didn't catch. Who knows? Yeah, hope you enjoyed.